Guys, not many people still know this, but generally Pulsechain is providing us a blessing that I haven't seen in crypto since 2021, okay, since the bull run times. And every time I look at it and I see that in the bear market now in 2023 we have these APRs happening somewhere in the world of blockchain on the smart contract of Pulsechain. Every time I just can't believe my eyes that this is what we see. But there is something super important to remember, guys, okay? Like these fantastic APRs, they don't last forever, okay? They don't last forever, and they normally, like at the very best case, they last for months, and at the more decent case, they last actually for weeks. So far it has been lasting for approximately a week or so for Pulsechain on PulseX, Decentralized Exchange on Pulsechain, the blockchain. And yeah, guys, we still have upper three figures APRs here, and last week it was actually still at the four figures, you know, so it's definitely diminishing almost by the day. So guys, welcome back once again to AR7 Crypto channel. As we mentioned, we're gonna go deeply into different possible strategies, okay, for Pulsechain, especially if you're a yield farmer, if you're an experienced one or if you're not experienced one, and different strategies that can work also for different kinds of people, okay? So none of this is financial advice, but for example, me personally, I'm not an exceptionally risky person in crypto. I actually found out it the hard way, and I'm in the world of crypto, I'm relatively risk averse, okay? I'm still, like, being in crypto, I'm still kind of, you know, like risk like many others, but you know, in my personal strategy, I'm risk averse. So some people may be less risk averse than me, and some people want to take like even higher risk. So today we're going to discuss good strategies for all kinds of people, okay? And one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is I feel there's still not a really good video out there about yield farming on Pulsechain. So hopefully this is gonna be one, okay? So first of all, let's just have a look on Pulsechain's price, okay? So we finally had a little bit of some sort of correction, okay? Recently we've had nice support here at 1.7, and right now we're trading at 1.8. And you know, recently we actually lost this level of 2.0, okay? We went below, tested it twice as resistance, and currently we're below, okay? So we're gonna see, nobody knows in the short term what's gonna happen, but you know, I wanted to make this video. You know, I kind of waited, you know, I saw the fantastic yield farming that we've had like with the four figures, but hopefully guys you appreciate it. I didn't want to make a video when the prices were still like here at 2.6, 2.5, 2.7, 2.8, when it did seem like a little bit of a local top at the time, okay? Because even if you started yield farming back then at the higher APRs, you still likely be in a somewhat of a loss, okay? So finally that we have stuff a bit more settled right now, the bridges are not absolutely crazy. I bridged some funds also today, and it took, I believe, even less than half an hour. So, you know, it's not a very bad time to really discuss the yield farming opportunities for Pulsechain, okay? So this is the current price as I'm recording the video. Now guys, let's go back to the PulseX exchange, okay? So I want to mention one of the next few things, okay? I saw many people in the Pulsechain community. Normally they say that like the absolutely best yield farms are, for example, this one, you know, just Pulsechain and PulseX, and I agree, it is very good in some ways. And you know, they also say Pulsechain and Hex, and some people say Pulsechain even incentive token, even though that's the reward token. So normally, you know, normally it's quite dangerous to yield farm the reward tokens, but even reward tokens can still go up a lot, okay? Like this reward token did just like a 10x very quickly. So, you know, in yield farming, nothing is set in stone, but soon you'll understand why we actually have a major blessing, okay? So I just want to share with you guys that, you know, like one of my first yield farming journeys in my life were like in early 2021 with Matic, and I actually joined the yield farming of Matic relatively early, not exceptionally early. The exceptionally early people were like late 2020, when Matic was still like 2-3 cents. I joined when Matic was, I remember, 28 cents in late February 2021. And QuickSwap TVL wasn't very crazy yet, and QuickSwap also token wasn't that high. It had even a higher high after that. So back then with QuickSwap, okay, I want to share that like the APRs were as crazy as Pulsechain right now, okay? Like, and I mean, even for like established big assets, okay? Like for example, PLS, which is the native token, okay? Like it's equivalent to Matic, okay? PLS with a stable coin, or PLS with Ethereum, or with wrapped Ethereum and wrapped Bitcoin, okay? You had these numbers, okay, in QuickSwap in early 2021, okay? And it lasted like I mean, even, you know, if you consider the people who even joined before, like late 2020, it lasted, these APRs lasted for approximately like half a year. Okay, now that was the bull run at the time. Okay, so it's really difficult to compare the bull run to the bear market. But on the other end, guys, like we literally see these APRs still now in 2023 in the bear market. Okay, and as many of us know, Richard Hart is one of the smartest people in the crypto world when it comes to game theory and thinking how to incentivize people to do whatever creates price appreciation. Okay, so personally, I will not also be surprised that, like, maybe, you know what I mean, there will be some sort of reviving, you know what I mean, like maybe you'll have maybe some new reward tokens or some new creative stuff that Richard Hart can come up with. Because, you know what, guys, I want to also share, before I go deeply into every single farm, okay, one thing that I was thinking about Richard Hart, like we know that he's very smart about what he's doing. So I was thinking, why is he launching these yield farms now in the bear market? You know, now that we compare with QuickSwap, that was able to hold these very large APRs for half a year. Okay, so again, I have no idea if Pulsechain and PulseX will be able to do that. But if they'll be able to do that in a bear market, guys, I think, you know, it will be absolutely crazy. Like, first of all, the people who are early now in Pulsechain are gonna have absolutely crazy gains, okay, and the people from all the other chains will just keep coming again and again, just seeing what the heck is going on here. How does it still keep having the high APRs, okay? But that's the better case scenario that we don't know for sure if it happened. It's a bit more like semi-hope, right? Like if Richard Hart will be creative in always finding how to keep incentivizing these farms again and again. But regardless, guys, what I want you to understand is that these APRs for like large assets, for a large native token with stablecoins or with Ethereum or with Bitcoin, okay, this is something that we haven't seen since 2021. So regardless for how long it's gonna continue, it's crazy that we literally have it in 2023. Okay, so that being said, I want to go now into every single farm. Okay, so look, as you guys know, USDC recently depegged because of the banking crisis that we've had on March. So again, non-financial advice. Nobody knows. Like normally, you know, these three decentralized exchange, these three stable coins, they normally do not depeg. USDC depegged once, DAI depegged with the USDC. USDT didn't really depeg for, you know, for many years. So again, nobody knows for sure, but I just want to remind, it's very important for me to be, you know, entirely sincere and entirely so that everyone understands completely. Some stable coins do depeg sometimes, okay? So nobody knows. Maybe it will depeg, but in most cases it didn't. Like USDT didn't depeg for many years. USDC depegged in a traditional world black swan event, okay, of bank collapse. But generally all of them are right now $1, okay, and relatively in the world of crypto considered safe. Okay, so all of these are more or less the same. It's not a very bad idea to still decentralize the risk among them, or at least among USDT and USDC and DAI. But yeah, so this is the stable coins. Okay, then we have this absolutely fantastic farm, in my opinion, wrapped Ethereum with wrapped Pulsechain, and wrapped Bitcoin with wrapped Pulsechain, and then we have Hex with Pulsechain, Incentive with Pulsechain, and PLSX and Pulsechain. Okay, and guys, I want to share with you really the major thing, how really to choose. You know, like on one end you see these fantastic APRs here, and you know, you're thinking maybe they're a lot better than this, but not necessarily, you know, because it depends on your strategy first, as we said, and also what you think is gonna happen in the short to mid term with Pulsechain, okay, and PulseX. Okay, why is that important? Okay, because you have impermanent loss in yield farming. That's a super important thing. I'm gonna link this website here in my video, in the description of my video. It's an exceptionally important website to check when you provide liquidity in yield farm. Okay, but generally, guys, I want to share with you that PLSX and wrapped Pulsechain normally they will go together, okay, and also the incentive token seems to kind of go together with Pulsechain, but again, it's a reward token, so long term I can't really, you know, all the reward tokens went a lot lower, you know, long term. And Hex, you know, it's not like that strongly correlated price wise like PLSX so far with PLS, But you know, we do expect it to have some correlation, right? Because both projects are by Richard Hart. So both of these, okay, so this PLSX and PLS, wrapped PLS and Hex. That's, by the way, PHEX, like Pulsechain Hex, okay, and wrapped Pulsechain, okay. This likely should have a lot less impermanent loss, okay. But first of all, they have a bit less APR right now, okay. That's one. Second, again, if you actually, if you anticipate more downside in crypto, more downside for Pulsechain and more downside for Hex, okay, or PLSX, then you know, maybe yield farming right now would not be that great, okay. So that's why, at least, you know, because of all the macro conditions and all the craziness that is going on, okay, with the world of crypto, and you know, like, it looks like maybe Bitcoin is recovering, but you know, it's possible we're starting some downtrend here. The stock market, in my opinion, is pretty overpriced. So again, nobody knows for sure what's gonna happen, but just if you think, if you're bearish, I would say, okay, generally, if you are bearish for the short to midterm or cautious, then actually this farm and this farm, they are not that great, okay. Again, if you're expecting Pulsechain, let's say, to correct back to the sacrifice price or something like that, okay, if you expect it to correct, and then PLSX, if you expect it to also correct by approximately 50%, and you know, if you yield farm here, even with this APR, but like if the value of your LP liquidity providing is going by 50% down, even if you don't have like impermanent loss, you still lose, you know, 50% of the value, just like if you would have just bought the coin, okay. So that's why it depends on the strategy and what do you think will happen next. And you know, nothing is like perfect for everyone, okay. It just depends what do you want to do and how much risk do you want to take. Do you think this is now the absolute bottom and there's no chance we're ever gonna have the prices of 1.7 to 1.8 with PLS? If that's what you think, non-financial advice, then this farm is absolutely fantastic for you. Or also Hex PLS, because Hex actually also corrected quite a lot, but that's actually Ethereum Hex. But anyway, yeah, Hex also had some corrections, right? So, and we're in the bear market, right? So if you have a long-term horizon, or if you don't care about it collapsing too much, or you just don't think it will collapse, non-financial advice, right? But then these farms could be fantastic for you, okay? But then let's discuss actually the other strategies that you can have, which currently, again, have even higher APRs, okay? Have higher APRs for the yield farming, okay? So now let's discuss the stablecoins ones, the wrapped Ethereum one, and the wrapped Bitcoin one. The wrapped Bitcoin and the wrapped Ethereum, they're kind of the same, but we're still gonna discuss it, you know, in detail, okay? So as we said, if you wanna take more risk right now, PLSX or PLS is great. Hex and PLS is also pretty great if you wanna like take the higher risk, if you think this is the bottom, okay? Now, if you're, as we said, more bearish for the short to midterm, which personally I am, but again, nobody knows for sure. Maybe, you know, maybe I'm wrong, right? But you have to, you know, defend your risk, and you have, you know, non-financial advice, but it's a very good idea to have a stop loss and to know just how much you're risking, how much can you lose and how much can you gain, okay? So all of that being said, okay, stablecoins, as we said, okay, together with Pulsechain, in case you're bearish, in case you think Bitcoin will correct to like 20K and PLS will correct because of that as well, okay? So obviously, if you're paired with a stablecoin, unless it depegs, that's crypto, you know, dangerous world. If, you know, if it doesn't depeg, or, you know, it depegs but comes back just like USDC recently did, you know, obviously if there's downside in crypto, okay, what's gonna happen if you actually gonna yield farm PLS with some of the stable coins, okay? What's gonna happen, excuse me, is if PLS is going down in price, okay? Let's say you're going down from like, you know, 1.8 or 2.0 to 1.0, okay? Then, okay, then you will actually like lose money, okay? But as you can see here, okay, let's say the price of PLS was 2.0 for you, right? And let's say it went to 1.0, to the sacrifice price, okay? And let's say you pair them in the liquidity, okay? So this is how much value you will have if you would put like $500 in the stablecoin and $500 in PLS. You will have 707 left, okay? So your loss would be 29%, okay? in comparison to 50% if you would have yield farmed here or here, right? And your APR is higher, right? So if you get the gist, right? So if you are bearish, if you are short to midterm, again, like if you're bearish long-term crypto, no, you know, non-financial advice, I don't know what you're doing here, right? But if you're bearish for the short to midterm or just cautious, right? If Pulsechain does correct by 50% from here, okay, or from the moment you start LPing, if you do it with a stable coin, okay, you will lose 29%. And of course, you will not lose it unless you sell, right? That's on paper. You will be in a loss of 29% instead of 50%, okay? But there is one more thing, okay? There is one more very important thing that will also happen, okay? So you will be in a loss, as we said, right? But there's actually one more very important thing, okay? What will also happen is that actually, okay, once, like if PLS price is going down and, you know, just the USDC price remains exactly the same, okay, basically when you have, when you're providing liquidity, you're gonna have, you know, you're losing money, right? So you're gonna have less stable coins, but you're gonna have a lot more PLS, okay, if PLS price goes down, okay? So again, a possible strategy if you're here in Pulsechain and everything is if Pulsechain does correct to, let's say, the sacrifice price, and let's say for whatever reason you think there's no chance it will go further below like it did here, okay, then okay, a possible strategy could be if you pair it with stablecoin, right? Like, okay, you lose 29% of the value once you sell from the 2.0 at to 1.0, right? But then you can actually convert. Okay, let's say PLS did go to 1.0 and you've yield farmed, right? It's not like you didn't, did nothing, like you earned rewards, right? And then what you can do is actually you could convert if you're bullish on Pulsechain, right? If you're here, probably you're bullish on Pulsechain. Then you could actually convert once you have even more Pulsechain anyway, okay, with the other stable coins. And let's say with the stable coins, you can convert it to PLSX or to Hex, okay? And then you can take the extra bigger risk, okay? But then if you were right and, PLS did correct and Hex did correct and all PLSX, all of these assets did correct even further, okay, you've yield farmed, okay, you've been here, you've yield farmed, and then you're gonna have even more, even a bigger bag of PLS, right? But like, what is non-financial advice? Why that could be not a bad idea, right? Because like, who knows, maybe we don't correct here, right? But like, if you want to have some exposure, that's the way to do it, okay? Now, when it comes to the upside, again, we don't know if it's gonna go down, right? So if actually Pulsechain will keep going higher from here in the immediate future, again, non-financial advice, but just from my past yield farming experience in 2021, primarily in the bull run, I will just say that normally you should start worrying once there's a 2x or 3x, okay? So let's say you started LPing at let's say 2.0, okay, just for round numbers. So as long as PLS is not at 4.0, okay, you shouldn't worry that much. If it starts to go above 4.0, and it depends on the rest of the market, of the crypto market and the stock market and everything, right? So if it is at 4.0 and everything is a lot more bullish, then again, non-financial advice, but then you may consider, okay, also doing the same thing as at the downside. You're gonna have actually relatively less PLS, right? But you've protected yourself. You know what I mean? So basically, this is a really nice possible strategy if you want to protect yourself and still be successful and yield farm a lot of rewards in the meantime, okay? Is that you can actually buy at 2.0, for example, right? If it gets to 1.0, you can convert the stablecoin to PLSX and yield farm this. Or if you're bought at 2.0, as we said, right? You're waiting for 4.0. If everything's a lot more rosy and bullish and you do think it's gonna go even higher and higher from 4.0, then you can convert at 4.0 also to PLSX. You're gonna have relatively less PLS than what you would have had had you just bought PLS now, but you understand you're protected like both ways. You know what I mean? So that's why sometimes in LP and yield farming, there are absolutely amazing opportunities to protect yourself. Okay, so this is a strategy with the stablecoin. Now the next strategy is sort of, so let's say the stablecoin strategy is the most bearish one. Okay, the most bullish one is the PLSX, PLS or PLS and hex strategy. The last strategy, in my opinion, is also a very nice strategy, and that's, let's call it like a medium sort of medium size. How would you say, like a medium risk? Okay, so like the most risk averse is stablecoin, and this is the riskiest. So the medium risk is wrapped Ethereum and wrapped Bitcoin. Okay, obviously I guess wrapped Bitcoin is even a bit more risk averse, but you know, like in the past really long time, like Bitcoin and Ethereum are strongly correlated. Ethereum kind of outperforms just a bit, but you know, generally I think they're pretty much the same. But I guess technically, still, to be very precise in the video here, I guess wrapped Ethereum still slightly riskier than the wrapped Bitcoin when it comes to, you know, downside or upside. But now let's explain wrapped Ethereum and wrapped Bitcoin. Okay, this strategy, the medium strategy. Okay. So, as you guys know, these are the two largest blue chip cryptocurrencies in the world, Bitcoin #1 and Ethereum #2. They're the largest by market cap. They have the most use case right now in the world, and you know, they're very established. They've existed for a super long time in terms of crypto. Bitcoin was the first one. Ethereum started in 2015. So, you know, hopefully whoever watches this video knows that Bitcoin and Ethereum are among the safest crypto assets, and you know, also safer than Pulsechain. At least that's what we know from the history. So why that could be the medium sort of the medium risk option? Okay, if you do wrapped Ethereum, for example, with wrapped Pulsechain, okay, you still obviously have like more exposure to the downside or the upside of crypto, right? So with Ethereum, you know, look, as we said, so if Bitcoin does correct to 20K and Ethereum correct, like where was it in March? Let's say Ethereum corrects to like 1300 or 1400, or even back here to the levels of December 2022, like 11 to 1200. Okay, like relatively speaking, like, you know, in crypto, I guess after everything we've been through, right, like it's not that bad relatively, right? Like it will be to 35% only downside, right? That's for Ethereum. So let's just put it like this. So if Bitcoin does correct further to 20K or even worse, right, it's still possible to even correct, maybe do a double bottom or something like that to 15K. I don't think we're completely out of the woods for these scenarios yet, but we might be. But this is like why we want to protect ourselves, right? So with wrapped Bitcoin and wrapped Ethereum, the bottom line here, guys, is that this is the mid-range between these two. Okay, so like non-financial advice, but you know, Pulsechain is a smaller and new project. Okay, it's a new hot project by a very successful entrepreneur, Richard Hart, who already had a super successful coin Hex from the last cycle. It already has a really good, very decentralized smart contract platform here for Pulsechain with very low fees. So like it has fees almost like BSC, more or less, but like it's a lot more decentralized than BSC. So you know, non-financial advice is just beginning here in 2023, but you know, at least fundamentally right now, it looks really nice. Okay, in terms of the potential for Pulsechain. Okay, so by the end of the bull run, you know, from these prices here, non-financial advice, but like probably, again, we just don't know how much Pulsechain will correct from here, right? But probably Pulsechain will have a lot more upside than Bitcoin or Ethereum or some other good layer ones like Matic and Atom. Okay, so same with Pulsechain. Likely it will outperform Bitcoin or Ethereum, but normally they will all go together. Okay, when Bitcoin will go higher or Ethereum go higher, normally Pulsechain will follow, especially the more Pulsechain, the more mature Pulsechain becomes. Okay, so yeah, so when it comes to that, as we said, this is just the mid-range thing from the stablecoins strategy. Okay, so if you do anticipate more downside, but like you know, you're unsure, and like in case we have a lot of upside actually in the, you know, next few months, which you don't want to lose, then you may want to pair it to wrapped Ethereum or wrapped Bitcoin. Or also, if you're worried about you know, the banking crisis in the world, and you know, just the stable coins, excuse me, just the stable coins depegging, then, as we said again, wrapped Bitcoin and wrapped Ethereum could be the answer. Okay, because again, if you have upside, okay, normally Bitcoin and Ethereum will lead the way. Okay, this is maybe another very important thing that I actually want to also mention here in the video, is that, look guys, like in all the past bull runs, okay, Bitcoin was leading the way. Now Ethereum is also a very large asset like Bitcoin. So if you've seen also even this past move in the, you know, in the past half a year or so, or also to the downside, you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum are leading the way in crypto. Okay, so at least here, if we go back here to you know, to Bitcoin, to late 2020, you know, this is when Bitcoin started going parabolic, and this has really created a massive bull run of 2021. Okay, but the important thing, guys, is that Bitcoin made the move first. Okay, like Bitcoin broke the all-time high here. Okay, and actually the really crazy altcoin season started only here in February, once Bitcoin was already around almost 50k. You know what I mean? So like Bitcoin had less than a 2x left in its total top, and that's only when actually the really maniac altcoin season started. Okay, now granted, some coins did perform pretty well here, but you know, like coins like let me show you like Matic, for example. Okay, so check this out. Okay, this is January 10th. This is when Bitcoin was already 40k. Okay, let's see where Matic was in January 10th. Matic just started this parabola move. Okay, January 10th was approximately here. So Matic was still 2 cents. Matic still had 100x left. Okay, it topped like at $2-3. Let me move it a little bit. Sorry. The top for Matic was $2 to $3, and when Bitcoin was 40k over here, where was that? Over here, Matic was still 2 cents. Okay, so let me repeat that. Bitcoin had less than a 2x left for its top, and Matic had 100x left. Okay, you get what I'm saying, guys? So again, some coins are a bit more of an early bloomers. Not all the examples are like Matic, but really the most amazing examples were like Matic. Okay, let me give you another example. Also BNB. Okay, BNB, maybe Pulsechain. You know, because like what I want to say is that like Matic, like in the beginning wasn't that established, and then it just like exploded thanks to a lot of fundamental stuff, and that's one of the reasons why it you know, had all of this upside. But let's check out BNB, for example. Okay, because if Pulsechain will continue being you know, among the top 5, top 4, top 3 blockchains with the most volume, most activity on its chain, okay, Pulsechain could be actually a little bit more like BNB, because like Pulsechain is already a large asset just as it's launched right now, because it's already in the billions of market cap. Okay, so check BNB. Okay, like yes, it had a very nice upside. Okay, and yes, like so the bottom of the bear market was like at $5, and then the bottom, if we're right and there's gonna be something kind of similar to what we've had here, like another big correction in you know, approximately late 2023 or so, you see like yes, BNB corrected here like to like $10 and then recovered very quickly. But let's compare again to Bitcoin. Okay, BNB went, yeah, did a really nice 4x here from $10 to 40. Okay, but let's see Bitcoin once again during the same time. Okay, Bitcoin went from like you know, 5k, you know, it even corrected to 3,800, but let's just go with 5k. Okay, it went from 5k to 40k by January 10th. Okay, that's an 8x by Bitcoin. What did BNB do during this time frame? Okay, it went from $10 to January 10th to $40. Okay, BNB did a 4x, Bitcoin did an 8x. But obviously, as you guys know, Bitcoin had less than a 2x left from here, from January 10th. And how much did BNB have? BNB still went from 40 to 600 and something. BNB still did another 15x from when Bitcoin was 40k. Okay, so guys, I hope you get the gist, right? But the main point here is that Bitcoin and Ethereum are leading the way. So in the next bull run, okay, it's gonna be exceptionally important that Bitcoin and Ethereum will get to the new all-time highs once again and everything. And again, I just want to mention, yes, it's possible some coins will be early bloomers. It's possible, yes, but like the majority of coins are not like that. So this is why we cannot really expect that just the particular coin we're talking about, like, you know what I mean, this particular thing is just a lot more gambling, okay? It's just not really, we can't really know for sure who's gonna early bloom or not. It's possible Pulsechain can do it, and it's possible some other assets like Matic or something else can do it again, but again, in most cases it just doesn't happen. And even the early bloomers, they still normally should still have even another, something like another 10x left normally. So all of that being said, as we said, hope you understand the gist. So if you pair the WPLS with wrapped Ethereum or wrapped Bitcoin, as we've mentioned, this is like the mid risk option. Why? Because as we've mentioned, these two assets are the prime leaders of cryptocurrency, right? So like if everything does correct, okay, if Bitcoin does drop to like 15 to 20k now, be rest assured that the rest of the altcoins will correct a lot more. Again, you may have like a few exceptions, like 10 coins out of 10,000 that maybe not, but you get the point. Like the far majority will correct a lot more than Bitcoin and then Ethereum, and also likely Pulsechain will also correct more than Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this is why, if there is a correction, but you still want to be exposed to crypto, doesn't matter what, you don't want to be exposed to the stable coins, then bottom line is that if you're with Bitcoin or Ethereum, and there's downside, right, likely your bag will correct less than if you've had PLS and PLSX or PLS and HEX, okay, likely, okay. Then again, to the upside, if you're right that Pulsechain can be somewhat similar to BNB, okay, and that it will absolutely explode after Bitcoin and Ethereum will make all-time high or will, you know, be very impressive price-wise. If we're right, and you know, Pulsechain is gonna repeat somewhat of what BNB did in the last cycle, right? Then again, then like you shouldn't like, you know what I mean? Again, non-financial advice. You do you, I do myself, right? But like one of the really easy, one of the really easy strategies could be just wait until like Bitcoin gets to like 70k or 75k or something like that, or Ethereum is like 5k or something like that, right? And that's it. That's all you do, right? You just wait for that, even if it corrects, even if it doesn't, and then you just convert the Ethereum or the Bitcoin just to PLSX or to HEX. You know what I mean? So like in a, nobody knows what's gonna happen in the future, right? But like in a high likelihood, non-financial advice as always, right? Your bag of PLS plus PLSX could be a lot higher, right? And again, in terms of like protecting your risk to the downside, if we go down, it will also correct less. So if that makes sense, this is why I also think like the wrapped Ethereum and PLS and wrapped Bitcoin and PLS is also a really nice option, right? So hopefully, yeah, that makes sense. So lastly, just to cover all of what we discussed today, okay? PLS plus PLSX, PLS plus HEX are the riskiest, okay? Like if you think this is the absolute bottom, or you just don't want to worry about it, you just want to, you know, take the risk and just forget about your bag for a very long time, that's you know, that's a fantastic option. If you're bearish and you want to protect your downside as much as possible, but you're still okay with the upside, and then once you know you're wrong, and you know Pulsechain still going quite a lot higher, you can still convert it, right? You don't have to wait and sit with the stable coins forever. This will be the best option if you're bearish. Then if you're, I guess let's call it cautiously bullish, right? Then wrapped Ethereum and wrapped Bitcoin with PLS is the best option, right? Because like if there is correction, yes, you'll correct more than PLS and stablecoin. If there's upside, you'll have a lot more upside than PLS and stablecoin. And lastly, non-financial advice as always, if we are right in the assumption that Pulsechain should be like the majority of coins, like to have the majority of its upside only after Bitcoin is breaking their all-time highs, just like BNB had here, or Matic, as we've also shown, had in its cycle. If we are right about that, then again, it's just possible to just sit very happy like this, you know, with in the Ethereum and Pulsechain LP, just until Ethereum reaches the all-time high or something close to that, or something slightly above, and that's it, you know. And then you can just convert it to this, and you know, just wait for what's coming next, right? So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully this video helped you to strategize in what you would like to do. If you have any questions, yield farming is still you know, pretty early thing in the general world of crypto. So if you have anything to say or to share, please leave a comment below. And yeah, guys, I hope you have a fantastic week and a fantastic weekend as well. And cheers as always.